what's going on? Welcome to Teasing the NFL. Andrew Chang to my right, and I'm Daniel Saludo. We are talking about the Sunday early afternoon games. The first one up is the LA Rams taking on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh.
This game is a pick'em, actually. Both are at 0 right now, and the total is 45.5. So teasing either team gets you up to +6. Doesn't matter if you pick the Rams or Philly, they're both 0, add 6, and you get +6. The over teaser gets teased down to 39.5, and the under teaser gets teased up to 51.5. So this game opened up last week when you had the look ahead lines. This game opened up at about 4.5, -4.5 to Philly, and then Philly loses to the Washington football team, and everything changes.
Don't get me started on that, Danny. I want to apologize to America or whoever's following us about the Philadelphia. That was just unforeseen. First of all, Carson Wentz got sacked 8 times, a record 8 times in that game, which definitely played a factor. But still, I'm just like, I like Philly, but in this case, the Rams, dude. The Rams.
Were you impressed with the Rams beating the Cowboys? Did I not say that the Dallas Cowboys I felt like were a little overrated? Did I not say that?
Not saying that the Cowboys didn't amount to much, but I was impressed with the Rams for sure. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning.
You lean a little Philly?
No, actually,
you leaning Rams?
I can't, dude. I can't.
Right.
After you got sacked 8 times.
Well, it's hard because it's hard to not want to pick Philly here because the Philly offensive line was just in shambles because no Lane Johnson. They moved their offensive line has shifted all the way around. Plus, not having Miles Sanders made a huge difference. And honestly, Washington's defense is kind of underrated. It's a nice front 7 that they have that can get pressure. But this game is supposed to. Philly's supposed to have Lane Johnson back. Miles Sanders will be back. But, the Rams still have Aaron Donald, dude's a monster on defense.
Dude, he bullied, like, the whole offensive line.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I think, I don't want to say it, but I think I'm leaning towards the Rams on this one.
I am actually leaning towards Philly.
What?
I just am. I think if you get Lane Johnson back, that's a huge difference to have him out at left tackle. To be able to have Miles Sanders will be a huge upgrade to Boston Scott. So you add those two things, you give Wentz a little more time, you give him another better weapon, and things should turn out a little bit differently. And the Rams didn't exactly do that well against the Dallas 3 wide receivers. So Kupp, Higbee, and Robert Woods should have a chance to do some damage in the intermediate routes. Nobody's really going to go for a long touchdown, but Jalen Ramsey on that defensive pass interference really wasn't a defensive pass interference. Offensive pass interference was not.
That's true. I can agree with that.
OPI, sorry, because it was a very minor push off, and depending on how you look at it.
He sold it, dude.
He sold it, but that's a problem. That's
Academy
a problem.
Award.
That's a problem, though. The other thing I'd be looking at is probably the over. Sorry, 39.5. That's over 40. The line actually just moved earlier this evening, Thursday night here. So I might be leaning towards the over a little bit. 20-21, pretty gettable in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't want to betray my Eagles.
You just did.
But
picking the Rams here, you kind of did.
I mean, yeah. The Rams look good, dude. Aaron Donald has a really good showing, and I think Robert Woods was just tearing up the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He didn't get a touchdown because I had him on fantasy.
No, he's a floor in fantasy. He's a floor play who gets a lot of yards.
But like over 100, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's not chump change.
They utilized him really well in the first half.
For sure.
So move on a lot of different things. So
I think the Rams got this.
Honestly, this is a pick'em for a reason, and when you have a game that's near pick'em, teasing is not considered the best thing to do, but that means the game should be close. So this is another situation where the game could very well be close, and both sides of the spread teaser could hit. But I'm just thinking that maybe Philly kind of was taking things a little easy on Washington, and they kind of were a little underrating how good that defense was. But they just fell apart altogether. They were up 17-0.
They did, man. They just dropped the ball and didn't play, and it was disheartening as a Eagles fan, for sure. I was just like, oh my God, like seriously, I'm gonna have to tell all of America that I'm sorry. I was like,
it was part of your no sweat bet, right?
it was.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was.
that.
Yeah,
That was
not happy
part of my
about
no
that.
sweat bet. Sorry, America, but honestly, if you get sacked 8 times,
You're gonna lose.
yeah.
You kind of deserve to lose, and they did.
I mean,
So.
I watched the game and I was just like, yo, like I cannot believe I lost. Like 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times that Carson Wentz got sacked. So you can't win if you're getting sacked 8 times.
True.
No way.
Very true.
Or cover the line.
Yeah. So I am. I mean, you teased him, and you were pretty much had him back to even. But I have enough faith in him this week that I'll pick him. This may not be something I have listed in my no sweat bet, but I definitely lean towards Philly more than anything else in this game. And you tend to lean a little bit more towards LA.
I do tend to lean towards the Rams a little bit because I liked how they came out of the gate. Like, honestly, like, Robert Woods was on point. I don't know who. Well, first of all, the running game wasn't there for me. But, I mean, they still won. Yeah. So, against the Cowboys, we're going to say, oh, well, it's not America's team or this and that. But the Cowboys are still, they're still up there. So,
not really up there. They're overrated. They're overrated, and I'll stand by that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But this isn't about the Cowboys. But I don't know if you can go wrong with either side. It's kind of more personal analysis at this point, what you like personnel-wise. I just happen to think Philly's on the up at this point, so I feel like they're the safer choice in a teaser. I understand why you would prefer to go with the Rams, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But, I mean, hopefully Philadelphia pulls it through, like, because I'm a diehard Philly fan. But looking at the line, you can't go wrong with either or, so it kind of goes down to the total. What do you like about that, Danny?
Well, the total is good. Both teams can score. Philly's a little more likely to score a little bit more, but I mean, Philly put up 20 or 23 on Washington, and the Rams put up 20, I think, on the Cowboys. So that's over. That's an over there. So that's why I lean more towards the over on the total.
I like that. Yeah, especially when it's less than 40.
It's under 40, which is a key number in totals. So teasing it down to 39.5 is pretty gettable for these two teams, I think.
It's not bad. Just how I lost. If I would have bet, I would have lost tonight. So
yeah, well, that's why we didn't bet that game. But we're smarter with our money.
Whew.
So
thank God.
Maybe not the best game for us to be betting on a teaser, but we have our leans. Andrew leans a little bit more towards the Rams. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Eagles.
Sorry.
And then maybe he'll readjust himself after this game. But until then,
not after this week. Nope.
No, it's just week 2, but that's okay. But for Daniel Saludo and Andrew Chang, again, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Andrew is going with the LA Rams for leaning on a teaser. But until then, don't forget to get your bets in, get that money in, and don't forget to be a tease.